All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another exciting episode of D&D Deep Dive, the show where we dive deep into classes, subclasses, and other features of 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons to help you get the most out of your choices. So, today, um, we are going to be covering the last bard subclass in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. It is the College of Eloquence, which is kind of you're taking a class that is known for its vocal abilities and giving them more vocal abilities. So yeah, it's kind of like adding extra wings to, a bird. They can already fly. But I got to admit, I think this one is really, really cool and very, very interesting. Yeah, let's dive into this. First things first, very quick primer on 5e class design. Every class should play very, very differently right from the beginning. Each class is going to have what we call defining features, the things that make them play and feel different. Those features should show up within the first two levels. For the bard, the defining features are expertise, which is not exclusive to the bard, but it is something that has been a part of the bard since its inception in second edition. Bards have just been naturally good at ability checks. Expertise, if you're not aware, allows you to pick a number of skills that you are already proficient in and become experts in them, letting you add double your proficiency bonus. In addition to that, the other kind of defining feature of the bard is the bardic inspiration. As a bonus action, a bard can inspire another player, giving them a die that they can add to an ability check, a saving throw, or an attack roll. All of those are really, really useful, and it turns the bard into this kind of interesting support class. The bard itself is a full caster, so a lot of its turns it's going to be casting spells, but that bardic inspiration allows it to really work very well within a group, either helping to team members that have a weakness to kind of offset it with inspiration, or helping team members that have a really good strength just be near godlike with those inspirations. Let's jump into the College of Eloquence. At third level, you get two different abilities. The first one being Silva Tongue. Effectively, when you make a charisma persuasion or a charisma deception check, you can treat a d20 roll of 9 or lower as a 10. Now, this is something that a lot of people either forget about 5th edition or choose to ignore, which is the idea that for ability checks, a nat 1 is not an auto failure. In 5th edition, the only time you automatically fail something when you roll in a nat 1 is an attack roll. It doesn't matter how low the enemy's armor class is. If you roll a nat 1, you will always miss. Ability checks, on the other hand, you don't. You still get to add your modifiers, and especially with the bard getting their expertise, there are times when you can roll a nat 1 and still beat your target number. Simply because bards can have plus 12 plus the 13 modifiers to some of their abilities. But with this effectively means a bard can never roll lower than a 10 if they're persuading or they're lying, which is really, really useful. There's so many situations where being able to persuade someone or being able to just lie to their face is essential. And the fact that the bard effectively, because even at a low level, Uh, if you were just trained or proficient in persuasion and deception, and you can't roll lower than a 10, that means your minimum roll at level, let's go with just level 3. Your minimum roll is going to be a 6 generally. If you've got a 16 charisma, which you probably will as a bard, that is the lowest you can roll, is a 16. And then going up from there, if you add in expertise, you get a higher proficiency bonus as you get higher levels. You get a higher charisma score. You can very easily have minimum rolls for eloquence bards for persuasion to deception that are above 20. Like they can never roll below like a 22 or to 23. Like that's really, really useful. It effectively means they're never going to fail a persuasion or deception to check against like a normal person, unless someone is trained in insight or something. They're probably not going to be able to beat a check from these eloquence bards. So that can be really, really fun. The other thing you get at third level is called Unsettling Words. As a bonus action, you can expend a use of your bardic inspiration and choose one creature you can see within 60 feet. Roll the bardic inspiration die, and the creature must subtract the number rolled from the next saving throw it makes before the start of your next turn. This turns the Eloquence Bard into a whole different beast. Magic users become your best friends because you can effectively ensure that their save-based spells are going to hit, which is nice for the thing, damaging spells like Fireball or Lightning Bolt, but is really, really useful on things like Hold Person, Dominate Monster, things like that, where if you do get them to fail, you've just massively changed the battlefield. Enfeeble, things like that. Unsettling Words can be massively effective. In addition to that, things like the Battlemaster Fighter, the Monk, these are classes that use saves a lot. So effectively, by using Unsettling Words and then basically having the rest of the party understand, okay, I can't use a saving throw ability this turn because we need this particular saving throw to work. It really becomes a very tactical choice. And again, you start off with a D6 as your bardic inspiration, but as you get to high levels, you get a D12. If you roll max on that for an Unsettling Words, a minus 12 to an ability check is effectively a failure. You have just reduced their chance to succeed by 60%. That is massive, and that means Unsettling Words is useful at level 3. It is useful at level 20. There, because of bounded accuracy, there really isn't going to be a situation where Unsettling Words is not going to be useful. Which is another thing I really like about the Bardic Inspiration is the die is large enough that it generally is always going to be useful throughout the career of your bard. So yeah, going to 6th level, you get Unfailing Inspiration. Basically, whenever a creature adds one of your Bardic Inspiration dies to its ability check, attack roll, or saving throw, and the roll fails, the creature can keep the Bardic Inspiration die. That is the one downside of Bardic Inspiration is if you make the roll and you add your inspiration and it's still not enough for whatever reason, we've just burned your inspiration. This effectively means you don't. So even on bad rolls, especially once you get like a D10 or a D12, there are a lot of situations where people will roll like a 2 on their D20 and go, nah, I would need a 7 on the Bardic Inspiration die. I'm not going to waste it. I'll use it when it's actually closer. With Unfailing Inspiration, if they ever miss, they can always roll it, and if they still miss for whatever reason, they get to keep the die. Like, that is massively useful. It makes Bardic Inspiration significantly more useful for the entire party. And again, it just helps with those things where you really need something to succeed. Well, now you don't have to save that Bardic Inspiration for that absolute, I have to get this to work. You can use it a little bit more often, and if it still fails, you get to keep it. So I really like that. I think it's really interesting. In addition, at 6th level, you also get Universal Speech. As an action, choose one or more creatures within 60 feet of you, up to a number equal to your Charisma modifier. The chosen creatures can magically understand you, regardless of the language you speak, for an hour. And once you use the feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest, or you burn a spell slot to use it again. This one is interesting. On one hand, very, very useful to have the ability for anyone to understand you. Monks actually get that ability for anyone. I believe it's like a 14th or 15th level ability. It's called Tongue of Sun and Moon, where they can understand and they can be understood by anyone, which is really useful. However, this only says the chosen creatures can magically understand you, not that you can understand them. So that in particular makes it significantly more limited in its use. It's still very useful, especially since your Bardic Inspiration requires a creature to be able to understand. You have to share a language with them generally. So this will expand the ability for you to use Bardic Inspiration on creatures that normally couldn't understand you. But beyond that, it just seems it seems a little bit underpowered if you can't understand them. Because generally, if you're using this ability, you probably can't understand them either because you don't share a language. Obviously, there are spells that can make it easier where you can actually understand things. But yeah, Universal Speech just seems kind of, it's nice that it is a secondary feature for a level up. Like, you still get Unfailing Inspiration at the same level. So I guess it's not as bad. It feels a little underpowered to me. Almost to the point where you could get rid of that and this class would still be awesome. Or this subclass. Finally, at 14th level, you get Infectious Inspiration. When a creature within 60 feet of you adds one of your Bardic Inspiration dice to its ability check, attack roll, or saving throw, and the roll succeeds, you can use your reaction to encourage a different creature, other than yourself, that can hear you within 60 feet of you, giving it a Bardic Inspiration die without expending any of your Bardic Inspiration uses. You can use this reaction equal times number to your Charisma modifier, and you regain all uses when you finish a long rest. Whoa, this turns out super useful. First of all, this means it is in your best interest to always have at least one creature inspired, because that one inspired creature can turn into 3 or 4 inspirations, one after another. And if you combine that with Unfailing Inspiration, it effectively means your Bardic Inspiration die is never going to be wasted with this character. In addition to that, in combat, that can be really useful for a number of the things. But outside of combat, if you're having a situation where the party has to all make checks, as long as they're doing it one at a time, like maybe they're crossing a rickety bridge, or maybe they're climbing single file up a cliff or something, you effectively, to ensure that everyone makes it up, you effectively can just go down the line with a single bardic inspiration to die. Yeah, you have limited uses based on your charisma modifier, meaning by 14th level, you have a 20 charisma modifier. I will guarantee it. Yeah, it means you only get 5 uses per short rest, but that's still effectively 5 more bardic inspirations. You are effectively doubling the number of bardic inspirations you get, which is really, really useful. This particular subclass really leans heavily into the bardic inspiration. Yes. So, final thoughts. I love this class. I've mentioned before, I'm a big fan of controller type classes in 5th edition. Ones where their goal is really kind of control of the battlefield, moving people around, modifying the action economy. This is a very kind of unique version of control, because this is entirely action economy manipulation through your bardic inspiration. Your bardic inspiration ensures that your team's ability checks and attack rolls and things like that are going to succeed as much as possible. While with Unsettling Words, you're ensuring that the enemy to the team isn't negating some of your team's roles and actions and the things like that by making their saves. And then combining Unfailing Inspiration and Infectious Inspiration just means you're using bardic inspiration constantly. And I love that. I think it's really interesting. It's really unique, especially the Infectious Inspiration. I really think that changes how you play the bard pretty significantly, and in a good way. Bards in general can be a little bit stingy with their inspiration because they get so few of them across the day, and they only work for a single roll. Not with this. With this one, your bardic inspiration can last for multiple rolls. If you fail, you're never wasting it. And with Infectious Inspiration, a single die can be transferred to multiple characters. So yeah, overall, I really, really like this flavor of Bard. I think it's unique. I think it could be the strongest part of a party. Yeah, just everything about it is super cool. Otherwise, that is all for me today. A little bit shorter. As always, if you enjoyed this, please hit the like button. It lets me know you liked it, and more important, it lets YouTube know you liked it. If enough people tell YouTube they liked it, then YouTube will recommend it to other people. So please hit that like button. In addition, hit the subscribe button. That way, all my videos go directly to your subscription box when YouTube is feeling like doing that. Also, hit the notification bell. On a fairly regular basis, I put out videos at weird times because my mental health doesn't love me. Yeah, if you hit the notification bell, you will always get a notification. You don't have to worry about missing one of my videos because it gets buried in your subscription box. In the comments down below, do you prefer singing bards or talking bards? And by that, I mean, a lot of people think bards, the only way to do bardic inspiration is, like Sam Riegel, they will sing a song to inspire people. However, speaky bards are just as powerful, and so spoken word poems, or maybe even just insulting people, can inspire them just as much as Glee Club. So let me know in the comments below. Do you like your bardies to sing, or do you like them to speak? Otherwise, that's all for me today, and I will see you guys next time, all right? Bye-bye!